Hey everyone, Kelly Bear here, and as you will see from the title of this video, I am doing a deck review. I guess it's a review because I have had this deck for a while, and also you'll see from the title that it is the Brown Witch Lenny by Krista, aka Aunty K. And yeah, I believe this is her first Lenormand. She's had a couple of tarot decks out in the past couple of years, and I believe she's also working on a playing card themed sort of reversible oracle deck, which looks really fun. But I'll link all the details down below where you can find all that stuff. The Oracle deck isn't ready yet, but it's coming this year. So we're talking about today the Lenormand deck, and as I said, it is the Brown Witch Lenny. I full disclosure, I was sent this as a sort of preview copy, just to have a look at it, work with it. Do a walkthrough and or a review of it. I've had it since last October. I'm not being paid to do this. I'm doing this because I really like the deck. Aunty Kate reached out to me and said, hey, I'm working on a Lenormand. Would you be interested in looking at it, you know, for me, getting an advanced copy? And she sent me samples of some of the cards and a little bit of the guidebook, and I was intrigued by both. I was liking what I was seeing. I mean, it's a witch themed deck, hello. So I'm all about that. There is a now final copy, and it is now available to buy print on demand. Again, all of the information will be in the description box. So the cardstock that I have is different to what the final thing will be. The final article will be in a linen cardstock. On saying that though, I've been really enjoying the cardstock that I have my current copy on anyway. You'll also have the option of buying the book. My book arrived Wednesday or Thursday this week, just gone. I'm filming on a Sunday, and I tore through this. I tore through the whole book. Yeah, I think it was Thursday it turned up, maybe. I've highlighted. I've tried to be really subdued and not like highlight everything, because I have a habit sometimes of, when I really enjoy a book, of highlighting too much. I've been a bit more selective with my highlighting of the last few months when I'm reading books, because yeah, it can get out of control. As anyone who's seen copies of like my Untold tarot book or my 6 Ways by Ada Water, it's like, it's out of control. So yeah, and it has full colour pictures. It has the number and the title of the card. It gives a description of the image, and then it will give a number of sort of keywords, and then it will give you whether it's a positive or negative, whether it's an active or passive, or whether it's a court card. And there's some interesting stuff to do with the court cards or the face cards in this deck, which I will go into. And I really enjoyed the way that Krista wrote in this book, and I really enjoy the way that Krista thinks and writes about the Lenormand. She's definitely provided me, at least, with some really cool ways of explaining some of the cards, but also the way of viewing the cards that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of, or that I haven't necessarily seen in other Lenormand texts. Of course, I've not read every single Lenormand text, guidebook, workbook that is out there, but I've you know, read with and worked with a fair few, and I'd like to think that I've gotten a fair basis in it. And so yeah, I'm enjoying this. I wish I'd put little flags in some of the bits that were sort of blowing my mind a little bit, but I haven't, because oh my god, my squirrel brain. But yeah, like, hang on, let's just read a little bit. And I know you want to get to the cards. I'm going to get to the cards, but I feel like the book deserves some love, right? The anchor, for example, the anchor is generally positive and can even be positive around negative cards, as the anchor's lasting and unwavering nature will carry you through. And the way that Krista like continues to write about this is, it's not so much that the anchor means stability, which it does, and endurance, which it does, but that also that stability and endurance and eternal hope that you might have within you. It's not just a physical action, it's also like your attitude or your resilience. And I was like, I hadn't really thought about the anchor that much in that way, so I thought that was, you know, that's just one example of the like cool the cool bits in this, you know, for example with the bear, and the bear is catching a fish, possibly a salmon I imagine. As a structural card, things feel good when the bear is around, and then I've highlighted, it's common to see a fish in a bear card, reminding us they are fed, they have enough money, right? They're secure, they're stable, they're dependable, they can nurture, they can catch food and pass, like feed their young, that kind of thing. And what I also really enjoy is that you're given some samples, you're given example readings. So what Krista does, she provides a question, what reading, you know, what cards came up, and then sort of explains her working, as it were, her maths, as it were, with how this works, how she gets to her conclusion. And I think that's always really, really handy. One of the best ways I've learned Lenormand is watching other Lenormand readers do sample readings. It's also one of the ways that I really picked up Tarot de Marseille, was watching other people read, and then practicing either along with them, or after watching the video, then doing it myself and sort of talking myself through out loud of a reading that I'm doing. So yeah, I think this is good. There was a couple of the readings where there's quite a lot of cards, and I don't know if it was an issue with the formatting, or if it was just me not necessarily being able to get my head around some of the layouts of the way that the cards were presented. I'm trying to find an example, but I can't off the top of course I can't find now. But for the most part, they're sort of really clear and easy to understand. That might just be a me issue, honestly. And then what I really enjoyed was there's a little bit about laying out the cards at the back, and then there's an explanation of the grand tableau as well, and each little bit, because the grand tableau, especially if you lay it out this way, if you have 4 rows of 8 and then 4 at the bottom, you get these really nice divisible boxes of like 9 card spreads, and that sort of relate to different areas of life, which is really cool. And obviously it's got all the houses listed on here as well. It's interesting, right, because whenever I've attempted grand tableaus, and I still mostly do 9 card box or line readings with Lenormand, honestly, because I do find the grand tableaus quite overwhelming when I do lay them out. I always eschew using the houses with my Lenormand reading, because I felt like it was going to not always, that's not true, because I have used a regular size Lenormand for the houses and then placed a mini Lenormand on the top as the reading. But I don't know, I think it was because I was using 2 decks and it was like confusing my brain, looking at too many. I was looking at 2 cards rather than a house and a card. But Krista said that she has one of those cloths that has all the houses printed on them, and I'm like, maybe that's where I was going wrong with the houses, because Krista says that she thinks that using the houses in a grand tableau actually makes learning a grand tableau easier, and I'm like, maybe I actually need to get or make one of those cloths with the houses on, and I will find it less sort of visually overwhelming having 2 sets of cards, if that makes sense. So I'll just show you the box. So a cheeky BIPOC Halloween Witch Lenormand deck, and I did get this in October, so it was perfectly timed for the spooky season. Brown Witch Lenny dresses every witch in classic attire: a skirt, hat, striped stockings and cowboy boots. This I will point, because it says stripped instead of striped. I'm sure that would have been corrected, because this is like just the what's the word, the original, like, what is the word I'm looking for, not preview copy, it's like the first prototype version. There we go. Striped stockings and cowboy boots, 3 alternate cards: coffin and seance, dog or familiar, and then cross and trials, and then 5 keywords cards and 1 double-faced. I don't know where my double-faced card is. It's not in my pile. I think I've already taken it out to use as a bookmark. But I've realised apparently you can use the double-faced card for something, I think. And there's some other fun stuff that is in this deck that I will share as I go along as well. So yeah, we've got 5 cards that have like the quick reference 1 through 36 what the cards mean. Really handy if you're just out with your deck and you don't have the book or a book with you on that. So I always appreciate having those. I think Tom Benjamin's Multi Marseille does that as well with the little explainer cards, because you get extra cards sometimes in the sheets and it's like working out what to do with them, what to put on them. So of course, as soon as I start wanting to show the cards, the sun blasts out. It's been a really rainy day. We're actually under a rain warning here. And yet, of course, as soon as I need to film, the sun is too much. But we're just going to go through the cards, and at the end I will do a top-down view, like down on my desk, so you can have a look at cards laid out in sort of mock reading, so you can see what the cards look like together, and how sort of clear and easy this is to read. So as you'll see, you've got the title and the number of the card at the top. The main image obviously takes up most of the card, and it's one of the Lenormand decks you get that has a card insert, which I always appreciate. If we're not going to get a card insert, I like to at least have, you know, where they have the number and the suit symbol, or the like court symbol on the card somewhere, just because I mean I don't really utilize the cartomancy. I'm currently reading Roger J. Horn's folkloric cartomancy, which is really fun, but I don't actually really read with playing cards as of yet properly, but I'm working on it. So this is where we start to deviate a little bit already with the house card from some other Lenormand decks. So as you'll see, the number 4, the house, is represented in a playing card deck by the King of Hearts. And what Krista has done has taken the character from that court card and then put them into the main image of the deck. Now at first I was like, is this going to confuse me? Because I've seen, or I've even owned in the past, I've since passed these decks on, that where there's people in cards and it sort of throws off what I'm looking at, and I don't know if sometimes I'm like, oh, is that a woman card, or is that a man card, you know, or a person card, or a child card. There's you know, decks that I've seen, decks that have like a child in a card that isn't a child card, that kind of thing, and it throws me off. And I was like, is this going to happen with this deck? And it hasn't, surprisingly. I don't know if it's just how clever Krista has been with this deck, or she's just really sort of changed the way I think about the face cards in the Lenormand. So it basically opens up more ways of looking, and I'm wondering if people do that, right? That you can use, sometimes the snake is seen as representing the other woman, for example, and some people have issue, like I've seen some people say that the snake can also represent another woman, as in like if you're doing a lesbian reading, and that sort of has connotations that are uncomfortable, right? But you know, if there's the other woman in the sense of like an affair, for example, then a snake kind of feels appropriate. Krista has some other ideas about the snake as well with regards to health, which I have seen a couple of other people talk about in the past. But I like that we've got these characters, and it's giving you other people cards other than just, you know, man, woman. It's opening things up, and these court cards, these characters can either, you know, possibly represent the querent themselves sometimes, but more so people in the querent's life, or people in the other like the significator, the other person that you might be doing a reading about, people in their life. And I really enjoyed that. So as you will see, as is the name of the deck, this is the Brown Witch Lenny. So this features only people of colour. We've got black and brown, Pacific Islander and indigenous people of colour. Here's another one of those. God, the snake. Look at these stockings. Look at the cowboy boots. I don't know how the snake is feeling about her wearing snaky cowboy boots. Maybe the snake's a little bit nervous, But she looks sassy. My headcanon is that they're faux. It's not real snakeskin. Okay, here's one of the extra cards. So we have the Coffin, which is a classic Lenormand card. Come on. A classic Lenormand card. I love that we've got the ghost rising up from there. Moving in towards the light, through the portal and towards the light. But we also have the option of the Seance card, which has the connotations of the coffin, but also some extra stuff. So there's a slight sort of shift in meaning. So it's things that have linger, as it were, but have still ended. There's a slight sort of shift in that. So I've actually just been using the coffin card in mine. I love this card because I love me a bit of black and purple as a combo. Purple and green are my favourite colours that are not black. And I love that, you know, she's got like a headscarf on and then this little witchy hat with the purple bow. She's got purple boots on. Oh my god, I would love some like purple witchy boots and purple striped tights. I'm all about it. I love her outfit. I love it. We have Scythe, another face card. And we've got the, come on camera. We've got the wheat sheaf in the background, which I always like to see. We've got the scythe. And we're getting a real dynamism with this. We're getting the, like, we can really see that there's going gung-ho, like swinging this scythe around this wheat, ready to harvest it. I really enjoy that. Oh, I need to wet my whistle. Sorry, it's feeling a bit tickly. Excusez-moi. Okay, we have the broom. And this like sort of sweeping out kind of cleansing rite situation going on here that I like. But obviously we have the other sort of connotations of broom as well. Sometimes seen as the whip. Some cards will have broom and whip on the same card. Just depends deck to deck. This bird's card, I'm going to pause, sorry, because I feel like I'm going to cough. Okay, whew. Eyes are watering. We have vultures. They're so cute. Look how happy they are. Look how happy. And I saw Tom Benjamin's video on this deck, walkthrough of this deck, where he was saying that it's a really clever, I mean obviously it's a spooky choice because it's vultures, and people are quite mean about vultures, but I kind of like vultures. They do a very, very important job in our ecosystems. He was saying it's clever, right, for the birds, because birds can represent gossip and like water cooler talk. And what is that but carrion for people to pick over? And I was just like, yeah, it's a very clever choice. The child card I really enjoy because I'm a tabletop RPG player. I play Dungeons and Dragons, I play Call of Cthulhu, I play various sort of tabletop RPGs, and I own not an insignificant number of polyhedral dice at this point. I've been playing tabletop RPGs for the last 6 years, give or take, on and off. And yeah, well, very much on for the last 4 years. We have the fox. Krista does a really interesting thing where we have this sort of witch shadow behind the fox, which can, again, can have a number of meanings and have like sort of double meanings or double let me just show you in the 14. Let me show you in the book because it makes more sense here. When the fox shows up, consider the context. If it's about work, the fox is a hard worker. They walk in two worlds, and this can be two jobs, the fox and the witch shadow. Also, what I think was really clever is that, you know, the fox is still right here in the foreground and isn't sort of overshadowed by the shadow. But you know what I mean? Your main focus does lead to the fox, but if it comes into play, this sort of witch shadow can be it also makes me think of like shape-shifting, and you know, this whole deck is infused with magic, as we will see, which I really, really love. So we have the bear. Obviously I'm biased and I'm quite fond of the bear card, being a bear myself. There we go. Stars. Stork, another court card. I love that this witch is choosing to travel by stork. Like, never mind the broom, let's get on a stork. Brilliant. Okay, here's another one with the extras. So we have the dog, which is a classic Lenormand card. This dog just looks so friendly. I love dogs. So I've been working with the dog card because I'm a dog mama and I love dogs. And then we have a cat for the familiar card, but I do like this option of having the familiar with the cowboy boot as well. I'm loving the stripy stockings with the cowboy boots and the witch hats, because I actually own a really gothy pair of cowboy boots. They're a little tight and I'm planning this summer to stretch into them, like submerge them in water. Don't at me, I've really researched this, and using like conditioner and everything I'm going to stretch them out. But they're like full black cowboy boots with witchy front lacing. They're not like a classic foot slip in your foot. They're a combination between a Victorian boot and a cowboy boot, and they're jet black. They're vintage, and they are so cool. And they are in my size, but because they're vintage, they're a little tight, which is unusual because I have small and narrow feet. They just need a little stretch out. But yeah, I'm totally going to be rocking some stripy tights, my witch's hat, and my my cowboy witchy boots once I've stretched them out. Because, oh my god, I just need to wait till the weather warms up, till the summer, because I need to wear them on a day where it's hot, because otherwise I'm going to be wearing wet boots all day and it's going to be uncomfortable, and I want them to dry out more quickly than if in the cold weather. What side quest. I was like, I'm not going to do a side quest. I'm going to try and do Krista a solid and not go on a side quest in this video. I can do it. I could not do it. I'm so sorry. I tried. Okay, I think this is one of my favourite ever tower cards, because just look at it. Hello. Look at it. It's a wonky tower. We have a witch. Can you see that shadow? There's a witch lurking in there. Come on, camera. The camera is being extra annoying today. I'm so sorry. Oh, there's another. I never noticed there was another witch. Why have I never noticed that? Oh my god, every day is an education. I believe that. Is that another witch? There's two witches. Oh no! What I thought was a witch, I think is a cat. This is. I really need my glasses. Prescription updated. It's really out of date. The witch is at the top, the cat is at the bottom. I'm a banana. There's a candle. Yeah, there's candles in the windows, but yeah. My eyesight, guys. Garden. I just like that it looks like literally like a little patio you can go sit and have a coffee on with a friend. Read some cards, maybe. What is going on with this focus today? All over the shop. Mountain. Can you see Sasquatch? Can you see Bigfoot? Just at first I was like, is that a bear? Because, you know, my eyesight. But the book, and then I was like, no, I think it's walking too upright like a person. I think it's meant to be like Bigfoot or Sasquatch. And then when I got the book this week, it confirms that it is indeed. Although, tell a lie, I did have the digital version of the book, then forgot that I had the digital version of the book. I'm not great with digital media. I don't really have access to a printer, so I can't often like print stuff off. Oh my god, this light is too much. Too much. And so if it's like out of sight on a laptop or an external hard drive or what have you, because of my neurospiciness, I can't, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind a lot of the time. Like, I will forget entire people exist. And it's not a malicious thing, it's like literally the way my brain is wired. So that's another reason why I enjoy physical media. Like, once I got this, I was like, right, this, like, I tore through it, I highlighted it, I could, like, yes, it's something tangible, and I can put it somewhere, and like where I will see it and like be able to like refer to it. It's actually going to go, I love this so much, it's going to go down next to my altar with the other little stack of books that I use all the time when I'm doing card readings. So I currently have down there the guidebook for the Fifth Spirit Tarot, which I love because it's like quick and dirty, but it's really well written and to the point, and from a viewpoint that I really value. And then I've got the Jack, no hang on, it's over there at the moment. Oh no, the books are all over there at the moment because I've been writing in my tarot journals, Jack Channoc's Tarot for Real Life, which I've become really fond of. I will also then have the guidebook of any deck that I'm currently reading with, but I think this is just going to be my one of my go-to Lenny books, along with my own Lenormand notebook, which is also with my tarot journal. So anyway, all of that is to say that I actually really enjoyed this book, and if you are buying this deck, I do highly I think you can get a PDF version. If you have access to a printer or you're fine with like reading stuff online, go for your life, right? But if you're like me and you like a bit of physical media, I do actually really recommend the book. It's really succinct and to the point, but packs a punch, and it's a really like easy read. It's really easy to understand, so make that do with that what you will. But yeah, that is my recommendation, is to actually get the book, or at least the digital copy, and print it out. The Crossroads, again, Krista talks a lot about sort of magic in the book, and of course if you are a practitioner of witchcraft, or a certain flavour of witchcraft, like folk witchcraft for example, which I'm kind of folk witchy, or spit and sawdust as I like to say, spit and sawdust witch. Crossroads is a very important liminal space, and for magical workings and striking deals. So also shout out to any of my supernatural fans, because obviously if you know, you know. We have the mice cards. Oh, I really loved the way Krista wrote about the mice cards. We've got them in this pumpkin carriage playing around. They're so cute though, right? I know that the mice card is like a negative card, but it's so cute. I do love a good cute mice card. I love mice. I'm a rodent girl. I've had pet mice. I've had pet rats in the past. Hamsters, little hammies. Listen to this. I just thought this was good. And there was a really interesting bit at the end as well. So mice gnaw away at the food in our pantry, which are resources and nourishment. The mice can represent a missed opportunity, and in this card the carriage and horses have become a pumpkin and mice. The opportunity has ended, but the story has not. And Krista talks really quite a bit. I'm so sorry, my brain fog is just making it really hard to be articulate today. I apologize. It's that Sunday brain. It's the end of the week and I'm just really not firing on all cylinders. I'm probably firing on half a cylinder at this point. Talks a lot about timing with cards, and then what a card can mean if it comes at the beginning of a reading or at the end of a reading. So if it comes, you know, in the first couple of rows, first row of a grand tableau, for example, as opposed to the last row, as in the last row on the right side. And I really appreciate that, which obviously there's lots of information like this that you can get in like big books, you know, like Rana George's book about the Lenormand, Caitlin Matthews' book about the Lenormand, but having this kind of information like really sort of stripped down and plugged in a really straightforward way, and in just like it's making things fall into place in my brain, concepts that I had struggled a little bit with Lenormand over time, on and off, and I'm like, it's been really, you know, I'm really enjoying that. Like, anyway, so yeah, I just think that was really clever. And then also what I think was really fun here, where here we go, just what I mentioned, the mice at the beginning of a reading has already occurred. At the end of a reading is ahead of you, and there is time to set some mouse traps, metaphorically. Perhaps your familiar will hunt these pests for you. So that's quite interesting, right? Where is the mice card in relation to the familiar? Like, where is the familiar around the mouse in a grand tableau, and can the familiar, or the dog or cat or what have you, whatever card you have, can it hunt them for you? Can it take out that sort of niggling problem? So I just really enjoyed that. Okay, let's see, we've got the heart card, which I'm really enjoying. I think this is one of my favorite like face cards, court cards in the deck. I love their outfit. I love that they've got a literal heart in a jar. I love that we do still get the nod to the sort of stylized, metaphorical heart in the background. And I love that they've got a leg brace on. Like maybe they have an injury, maybe they have a disability. And like, check out their outfit. Hello? Yes. Red cape, like red cloak. Who hasn't wanted a red cloak in their time? I love this ring card. And I like literally wore this ring and gloves. I'd taken off my nail polish, which is a shame. I had black nail polish on. I wish I'd left it on, but it was getting a bit scrappy and I didn't have the spoons to like repaint them before this video, honestly. But yeah, so this is a nod to... So I love this card. I'm like, yes! Whacking great gem ring. Maybe is it turquoise, maybe? Looks like turquoise. I like that we've got like photographic elements. It literally looks like possibly a picture or a photo of turquoise, and then the rest of the like illustration around it. So there's that. We have the book, which is a grimoire. Hello. Yes. Love a grimoire. The letter, which has a literal spell written on it, and the spell is provided in the guidebook. Okay. So this is one of the things, again, there's magic infused in this, which makes sense, right? Because it is it's the Brown Witch Lenny, right? So we have a spell in the back for the letter cards. And also, apparently in the copy that will be going out for print on demand, you will end up with this card as well, which is for a communication spell. I don't have that in my copy because I don't have the final copy. This is a prototype, but yeah, you get like an extra 7 of spades card, letter card, and you get, so you can use it for this spell, which I love. And then, like I said, the double face card, which has moons on both sides. I think I've used that as a bookmark, but I think that could possibly be used for something else. I can't remember if I don't know. I heard Tom Benjamin, I think maybe, or Logan at Lark and Legend mention something about the double face card, but I can't remember reading anything about it in the book. But someone correct me if I'm wrong. Either way, it's always handy to have one because you can also use it as a bookmark, which is what I do with these. So again, here we have a deviation from the classic Lenormand, where you have 28 man card, 29 woman card. Here we have desire and seeker instead, so desire instead of man, seeker instead of woman. And what I really like about this is that you are taking out the whole gender entirely, because it's not always necessary, right? And also what you desire isn't always another person, regardless of what sex or gender they are, right? Sometimes you desire a new job. Sometimes you desire some shiny new roller skates, which is something I'm saving up for. Sometimes you desire a luxurious holiday somewhere. I don't know, what do people desire? People desire fancy cars, if that's your thing. I don't know, people desire all sorts of things, and it isn't always you know, a lover or a partner, as it were. So I really appreciate this. Yeah, so that's fun. Okay, I love the heart card. This is though my favorite court card in the entire deck. Lilies. This guy, King Lenny, I love him so much. And what I really like the way Krista somehow managed to weave in the idea of age and maturity and purity of the meaning of lilies with the other meaning that can have, which is sex and sexuality. The way that she's written about it in the book, it actually blends them in a way that makes sense and doesn't, you know, some people go, you need to decide what lilies mean. Do they mean age and maturity and wisdom and purity, or do they mean like sex and stuff, I guess? And I've wavered on and off for like both meanings, because I can't make up my mind. I don't know, and like Krista wrote it in a way that made me feel like I can have both. Why not both? Like that gif, right? The why not both? So yeah, I love him so much. I love that we've got like an older character We've got his mobility aid here at the side, which I really appreciate the inclusion of. I want to see more older people in my decks. I just love him. I love him. Look, he's like tending to his garden. Oh, I just want to sit and have a conversation. Krista has created some like really fun and interesting characters that I just love. Like the Queen of Wands in the Marseille Prendre Vie. I love them so much. I think they're my favourite core card in that whole deck. I just want to like hang out with them. So anyway, the sun. I love that we have a sundial. And yeah, I was like, am I going to find this confusing? But actually not at all. Like, I don't feel like it overpowers the image. And, you know, the first word of sundial is sun. So it's already, sun is always the first word that comes to mind. Another favourite. Hello. This makes me think of Bewitched. Do you remember Bewitched with Samantha who would wiggle her nose? Maybe that was the first witchy thing I ever watched as a kid. Like, I watched that really young in the 80s. There was reruns. I was obsessed. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Don't want to get hammered for copyright infringement. We have the key. Look at that gorgeous ornate key. And you get closer, you're like, oh, how pretty. Oh, there's a skull. Yes, skeleton key. The fish, another face card. Come on, camera. I just want all of these witches' outfits. Look at this king. We have the anchor. We have a mermaid in the anchor swimming away. We have another two options again. So we have the cross, which is the classic number 36 card. But if you would rather not have cross, it's the same image, but we have trials here. So this image is the same on both. We have the witch with her hands handcuffed behind her back or their back. Blue hair, hello, very cool. Purple dress, into it. Sorry, that's not the point of the card. Sorry, I'm always distracted by the fashion choices that Krista has made. But yeah, I've been using trials. I have been using the alternative card for that one in my reading. So yeah, I really love this deck. I think it's charming. I think it's clever. I think it's fun. I really enjoyed the book. I think Krista has written really like succinctly, like really explains things really well and has really interesting ways of thinking about Lenormand that I hadn't necessarily considered. And I like that it only features people of the global majority. I do think it's a balance that needs to be addressed, and I just really appreciate that we have this available to us to read with. So yeah, I just love the characters in it. I've sort of fallen in love with it. So yeah, I forgot to mention, like, I really enjoy this, like, it doesn't show up on camera, but it's almost like this very pale lilac. And I can't tell if it's meant to be, I think it's meant to be marble. It's not cloud, it's marble. And then just the simple, like the little filigrees in the corner, it just ties it all together nicely. And I do love the backs with the, you know, we got our triple moon. Us witches love a triple moon. So yeah, I will provide all of the information down below in the description box. It is available now along with Krista's Marseille Prendre Vie, which I also highly recommend. I'm going to flip to top down so I can show you, you know, some mock like layouts. You can see how this deck looks like all together with cards. So you can see how clear it reads, but you know, some of you might want to bounce at this point, but you know, if you're interested to see how it looks all together, stick around, and yeah, see you in a second. Okay, so let's have a little look at some of the cards laid out together, so you can see just how nice and clear that this deck reads. I've already given it a good shuffle, so I love this moon card. Sun, oh, the moon and the sun together, interesting, right next to each other. Scythe, ring, again, love this ring card. Mice, bear. See, really, I would say really clear. I'm just moving my light a little bit because I'm not very good at getting good lighting for these videos, these top-down videos. Hopefully you can see well enough. So if I just turn it down a little bit, I might take the shine off a little bit. Let's do another round. Okay. I mean, the images are really clear, but also I find also the titles being written in a decent size right at the top there, in a clear sort of, looks like, it makes me think of, you know, when you get, well, for me at least, when I got my first Lenny, it was the fairy tale fortune cards, and I wrote all over it like keywords and things like that, so it has this like, I've never gotten rid of it because it has this like homemade feel for when I was learning, and this makes me think of like that sort of, that nice little handmade touch to it, having this handwritten look to the, I mean, it might very well be Krista might have, I don't know, have used her stylus to actually literally write those out. That would be cool if that is the case. I should check. Heart. Oh, I love this. I think this is one of my favorite face cards. Seeker, Trials, Stalk, Tree, and Letter. So yeah, I think gives you a good look at how clear it is, both the image and the title, and you know, having the number there easily legible as well. And of course this is a deck with the playing card inserts if that's something that you work with, and again, as I'd mentioned before, we've got these the courts showing up in the cards themselves and the imagery of the main meaning of the card, which I've actually been really enjoying. So yeah, there's a little bit of light bouncing off this cardstock. There's a tiny bit of a sheen. It's not glossy. Of course, the actual final article will be in a linen cardstock. And as I said, I was trying to hang on until that copy arrived, but it hadn't, so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to film this video, and this is the, you know, this is the copy I've been using for the last 4 months, and it's held up perfectly, rather, not held out perfectly, and it shuffles nicely, both overhand, because it you know, it slides over itself nicely without flying all over the place, and also it shuffles nicely enough. So even though this isn't going to be the cardstock that the final thing will be, and this has been perfectly like perfectly usable and fine to me, to be honest. So I am excited to see the cardstock of the final one when it arrives, though. So yeah, although I don't know, I imagine I might end up still using this one, because this is the one that I've sort of imprinted on, as it were, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is my video on the Brown Witch Lenny by Aunty K. Krista, I think you've done a wonderful job creating this deck. It's very firmly become one of my favourite Lenormand decks to read with, and yeah, I look forward to continuing to work with it in the future. Thank you so much for entrusting me to get an advanced copy of this, and you know, work with it for a good while, and yeah, I've really come to, I love it. So thank you so much. Thank you to anyone else thank you to anyone watching, to anyone or anyone else watching. Who knows, maybe no one will watch this. Hopefully that won't be the case. You know, I make videos to be watched. Yeah, I think I'll let's take some more off the top. I think I'm going to go now, because I'm making a pig's ear of this ending. I never know how to end videos, especially when they're top down, because most of my videos are face forward, and I have a bit more of a routine with that, and even then I fudge those. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that wherever you are safe and you are well, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.